Hi.
Hello. So we are really pleased to be here. And even though it's a Friday afternoon, we really hope that you will be interested for those 30 minutes that we have on our speech. As Justina mentioned, our subject is ethics in UX. We are both practitioners, UX designers. I work in El Passion, and Agnieszka works in Isobar. But before that, we used to work together for quite a long time, and we still like to take part in various UX initiatives.
Should we start?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. So, do you know the old Chinese proverb, may you live in interesting times? Uh, it even refers as a curse. And I'm sure that times we live in now are very interesting. And the world is gradually becoming dependent on the new technologies, and we designers, product owners, programmers are becoming more and more responsible for that. So while we're trying to become better designers, graduate the best university, finish the best courses, become so-called unicorns, we have to remember that our work has a real influence on people's lives. So what do you think when you hear ethics in design? Because lots of my friends, when hear this sentence, are saying designing for disabilities. Of course, is very important, and even if you do everything with rules in accordance, you can do such a thing like this. This is a wheelchair ramp in Siedlce, Poland.
Good luck going with that.
Yeah, but we're not going to talk today about designing for disabilities because ethics in design has many other aspects to talk about. So,
So when you think about ethics in design, what is it mostly about to you? For us, it's mostly about awareness and empathy, because you need to be aware if you face the moral dilemma. Otherwise, you won't be able to address it. So the thing that we wanted to focus today, apart from the designing for disabilities, is whether you are aware of the ethical dilemma when you're designing for addictive engagement, or whether you use dark patterns in your design. Maybe you're working in a company that has a very aggressive UX strategy, or you simply include some designer biases in your product.
so the main consequence when we are talking about designing for engagement is addiction to technology. Um, I guess we should consider how design can affect human brain and human behavior. So in the current discussion over Facebook, Apple, Twitter, and other big companies trying to turn us, our kids, families, into social media addicts, we have to remember that our role, designers, engineers, product owners, is very important here. Because as I said before, we have real impact on people's lives. So now I want to show you a short movie about addiction to technology.
Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Architects of our digital world. Stop. Be better. Because we can be. And we can see that these systems have been designed with intricacy so that companies can keep our attention indefinitely. I don't want to keep crushing these freaking candies. I don't want these alerts to completely command me. I don't care if that panda bear is dancing. Well, maybe. With a hula hoop. Okay, this is fantastic. I have to share this with my 10 friends and 10,000 strangers. Caption, who wants to throw a panda rager? Great, let me go back about my life. For God's sakes, I'm trying to right swipe my wife. Huh. 30 seconds and just 2 Facebook likes. Or is that just 2 for which I've been notified? Let me go back and check inside and see whose likes I tried to hide. They don't show them all, I wonder why. This panda's dancing. And another video plays after automatically. This one of a gopher that stage turns dramatically. It's like my attention is kept systematically raptured by algorithms that know exactly what I want. Or not what I want, just what I'll watch. And the people behind this intelligent design genuinely want to better our lives. But their bonuses just so happen to be tied to keeping time on site exceptionally high. And now even my news apps have been gamified, and what am I, not gonna click that one simple sex tip guaranteed to blow her mind? Wait, where was I, and why have I forgotten to look for that thing I'm supposed to find? And my God, look at the time. It is shocking. But somehow, yes, Netflix, I am still watching. And I know. I should have more self-control. But just to be clear, you just spent $1 million telling me this story designed to cut off at the end, leaving me wanting more. See, of course I want to see what you have in store. See my cursor already waiting there on the screen floor as you tease the next hour in all of its glory. And you'll give it to me, unless I actively abort. See, it seems the decision's already made for me. The countdown clock's moving. There it goes. 5, 4, 3. I need to sleep. But you made me want this more. This is not what I consciously signed up for when I hit play on one episode 6 hours ago. Architects of our digital world. You have more data, information, and control over our attention, the tools to tweak our emotions so we'll return to your experience. But is that what you should do? Or should you build digital tools so advanced they can actually enhance the world outside the device in our hands? Can you add so much value that it lets us put our phones back in our pants as fast as we possibly can? Not time-sucking, time-giving innovation. That's what it means to be truly technologically advanced. The future is not all screens. It's humanity enhanced.
So, as you have seen in this movie, short movie, we already know how addictive is the technology. But what we can really do to help our users not being addicted, we prepared little tips that might help. For example, as a designers, we can build the alarms inside devices we are producing, because feedback is needed to show people just how much addiction they are experiencing that day. Also, we can build time trackers, because design trackers such as step or mile trackers, which helps us become healthier. And I think the last one is the most drastic one, because we can also offer the cold turkey option. That means that we can build the trackers which simply shuts down user after 1, 2, or 10 hours of using the device. So we have other example of positive action in technology world, because there is a campaign made by Common Sense Media, and they are also talking about these trackers, that we should build them inside the devices. But I think that there are a lot of that kind of trackers, but engineers, maybe product owners, try to hide them inside, deep down inside the application of our system. And our role now is to bring them to the front, to show them to the user, to let them use them. So we want to show you another short commercial from Common Sense Media.
I'm not hungry.
What's wrong, sweetheart?
I miss Daddy.
I know. We all miss him.
I miss him more.
No, I miss him the most.
I miss him a lot.
No,
I
miss him
more.
so
Hey,
much more.
hey, everyone shut up. This filter makes me look like a cat. It's so funny, it's making me cry.
So as you see, what's important in that kind of campaign is to address them not only to the end users of the application or the system, but also to us, to designers. We should watch such a commercial to get this knowledge about the addiction, and we should be aware how can we harm families or how can we harm users without thinking about their future.
So how do designers shape the addictive behaviors? Is it only our responsibility? Can we prevent that? One of the common practices is to use dark patterns. And as a user, when you surf online, you usually don't read everything in depth. And that makes you very vulnerable because the companies may persuade you to do basically anything if they want to. So in this example, you can see how booking the room could look like in the ideal world on the left side, and how it usually looks like in the real world. So I don't know if you ever heard that from the client or from your boss. Make it more prominent, make it more colorful, more tempting to click, bigger. So as you can see, you can do a lot with a button. But the question you should ask yourself is whether you should do something with this button. As you can see here, simply switching the primary and secondary button makes the user completely unaware of what action he will perform. It's completely reversed. And does this pop-up mean anything to you? Do you often see that kind of pop-ups? For example, if you use cookies. Is there anybody here that doesn't use cookies? Raise your hand. Well, usually the purpose of the cookies is to remember who you are when you click from one page to the other. But there are some cookies you might want to avoid because they sometimes gather the information about you without even you realizing that they do so. So in this example, you can see that this is a cookie consent, and the first thing that would come to your mind is that you would agree to cookies when you continue to the site. But that's not actually the case. If you see the highlighted text, you will find out that switching off the pop-up or clicking anywhere on the website would actually be the same as giving the consent. If you want to reject that, you have to go to Learn More option. And who has ever done that, right? You probably know this face as well. Well, if you haven't heard about the Cambridge Analytica scandal, let me just quickly refresh your memory. It was about Facebook gathering data about the users in a hidden way and giving this data to the third party, who then used it for political ways. And they do know a lot about us. So look at these numbers. This should show you the scope. So Facebook is the #1 source of online divorce evidence. That's scary. 1 in 7 married people have contemplated divorce because of their partner's social media activity. And 25% of couples fight over Facebook at least once a week. So have you ever heard that before from your friends, from your family? Yeah, well, they already know everything about us, so there's no point in trying to hide your personal information. Well, it's not only about what they know, it's also about how will they use it. Let me introduce you to a story about Bobby Duncan. Bobby Duncan is gay, and she didn't plan to come out, not until she joined a queer choir at the university, and the choir director added her to the Facebook group. And you see, Bobby was very private. She didn't want any notifications to be shown on her feed. But the notifications of the Facebook group were public. And when she was added to the queer group, this was automatically publicized on her feed. And this way, everybody found out about Bobby's orientation without her knowing it and against her will. As a result, her intolerant parents disowned her, and she even tried to commit suicide. That's all because of a privacy loophole at Facebook. So another example of this kind of moral dilemma, because in this example that I've talked to you about Bobby, we're not actually sure whether it's unethical, right? It doesn't have to be, because they didn't plan probably for such a thing to happen. But it's just that those people who designed this feature actually didn't give the users full control over their privacy, and the results were devastating. And another example that I want to introduce to you is Google Duplex. I don't know if you heard about it. It's a crucial part of Google Assistant. Right now it's only available in USA, so you might not have the chance to know about this. And I want to show you a quick movie involving this Google Duplex. This is AI, so a machine. Let's listen.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a woman's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have at 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
So what you've just watched is a conversation between a machine and a person. And if you would ask yourself whether this is ethical, I mean, it's not actually clear, because there is no harm done to the receiver, right? There is nothing going on. But the question you should be asking here is about trust. The person on the other end of the line didn't realize that she was talking to a machine. And if you think about the consequences of that, will we be able to believe the person on the other end of the line in the future? So, as you can see, your intentions might be good, because I guess Google didn't want to deceive us in any way by creating such a device. But there are so many other factors that you need to consider when designing, because good intentions sometimes are not enough.
So here's another example of product that supposed to be good, but something didn't go as planned. I don't know if you know Thai. Thai was a chatbot designed by Microsoft in 2016. Thai communicated with user via Twitter. And to everyone's amazement, after few hours after the launch of the chatbot, the artificial intelligence started to post very offensive and racist posts. So it turned out that the users of Facebook taught Thai such a behavior. So the artificial intelligence was shuttered after 16 hours of its life. And that makes me think, could it have been prevented? Why designers didn't think about the outcome of their work? Why they didn't assume? And that's not really good approach to designing. A similar situation happened to Snapchat when they introduced a new filter allowing their user change their skin, change their personality into a Bob Marley. And the filter was launched at the unofficial Cannabis Day. So many Snapchat users were offended by this because company shown Bob Marley as a mascot of cannabis and not as a great musician or songwriter. But also the fact that the filter changed the skin color to black was even referred to digital blackface. So it was referring to even this infamous times of racial segregation. So do you think now that design can really help fight racism and discrimination? Because after these examples, I think that this is our power, yeah? We can do that. We just have to make assumptions. So what's more we can do to make design more inclusive experience? For example, we can start to create personas away from stereotypical informations about the audience. We can also implement to our products emojis with different skin tones, with different sexual orientation. And instead of asking about the gender and giving just 2 answers, probably in radio baton, we should let the users customize their gender. This is an example of Facebook. They have a drop-down, but also we can use hashtags, whatever, yeah? So what's more we can do? For example, in the research phase, we can ask ourselves questions. Does your persona really need to be a man? Are you assuming that your persona is not familiar with technology just because of their age? Or how does the location of your persona impact your design decisions? When you're starting to prototype your product, you can also ask yourself, what personal information are you requesting from user? Are all of them really necessary? Or how can you make sure it covers all diverse of answers?
And as we mentioned before, good intentions sometimes is not enough, so you need to see your product through till the very end. So if it's live, if it's already working, and you need to evaluate the product, ask yourself, is it changing the way people interact for the better? Does it promote addictive behavior? Do you inform the users that they are being monitored, or do you trick them into giving you this consent? Do you protect their privacy? So small changes in our perception of the world and openness to diversity can bring social change. It starts small. And if you're still not sure if you're on a good path, this is a shortcut for you. Answer only those 2 questions. Would you be comfortable with someone else using your design on you? And would you like someone else to use this design to persuade your mother or your child? If you answered to any of those questions no, then you probably need to rethink some of the decisions that you made. And I know that there are probably some newbies here, some designers who are starting their career and they are focusing on learning the tools, on mastering the craft, on gaining new skills. But actually, this is much easier than building a solid foundation based on ethics, because this takes time, this takes continuously evaluating your decisions. So it's difficult. And you should definitely start with this first.
Yeah, and designer should be this, moral compass inside the developers team and product team.
We're already evangelizing in the company, right? What is UX? How we should make decision based on user research. So just add this one thing to your list and talk about ethics, talk about moral decisions. You're already doing that anyway. And with this message, thank you and have a nice Friday.
Thank you.